Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to today's pick a card reading where we are looking at how the person on your mind thinks you see them and your connection. We have 3 decks to choose from, 1, 2, and 3. There will also be an extended for every pile. The link will be down below. If you feel called to, you can check it out. And personal readings are also available. The link is also somewhere down below. And one more thing. I will still be posting regularly. I intended to post this video 2 weeks ago, and I filmed pile 1 2 weeks ago as well as the extended, but I couldn't finish the video. I didn't have enough time because my mom was visiting and then I was traveling, so yeah. Here we are now, 2 weeks later. That's why you may notice that the setup is a little bit different for the piles as well as my nails. But yeah, still me. So I hope these readings are helpful to you or relevant or they resonate or they're interesting at the very least. And now I will leave you to focus on which deck calls to you the most, and I will see you soon. Hello, my beautiful pile ones, and welcome to your reading on how the person on your mind thinks you see the situation between the two of you, as well as how they think you see them. And this will be from their perspective, in the sense that this may not actually be how you see the situation, but I'm aiming to kind of get clarity on what they think is on your mind about them. So with that in mind, we're going to start off with these oracle cards first, then we have some tarot to get through, as well as an extended reading and channeled messages. So let's see. This is actually the second video, the second collective reading I'm filming today. I've just been feeling very energized for this kind of stuff. And I also want to tell you before I forget, the candle, first of all, this kind of looks like a heart to me. I don't know if you see that from that angle, but from where I'm looking at it, there is kind of like this curve to it right here in the candle. I really can't tell because my phone's brightness is so low, so my battery doesn't die. But anyway, it kind of looks like a heart, but that was not actually what I wanted to say. What I wanted to say was that this candle has just not been working for the longest time. Like, and how I resolve this is by pouring out some of the wax, like burning it sideways and pouring out some of the wax, and now it's fine because it kept going out on its own because the wax around it burned and this was kind of submerged. The wick was submerged, so it was just not happening. Anyway, I wanted to say that because I think that relates to the energy of this situation. Maybe the objective energy, maybe how this person thinks you feel about it. But I think this is a situation where you may have tried many times to bring it together, to fix something, to talk about something, and you may have kept triggering each other, or you may have had external circumstances coming in between the two of you that made it very difficult or almost impossible to talk about things. So with that kind of framework in mind, let's see what we have. We have the cheetah. I remember your cards. We have the Grand Trine. We have the 8th house. Scorpio energy or season could be significant, but it doesn't have to be at all. We have Twin. We have the Ring. We have the Knight of Pentacles as your singular tarot card that I pulled, but we'll get more later. We have courage arrives when you step over fear, and this also adds up to an 8. So I feel like 8th house energy is coming through very strongly, but also 8 is the number of the strength card in the tarot. And I feel like there is something about this situation that really requires courage and vulnerability in the heart space. And I think this person feels that you think that this is something that has required both of you to be brave. And with this twin energy coming out, I feel like your perspectives of this situation with this person and how they see themselves and how they think you see them is kind of very similar energies. So you may be very accurate in your perceptions about this person, or they may feel that you are. Seems like they kind of agree with you about a lot of things, and I think they trust your judgment a lot. We also have external transformation, which I am pretty sure came out in a recent reading I did for one of the piles for the opposite end of the energy, basically, how the person was perceiving the connection or the situation. If I'm not wrong, I think that's what it was about, but this was a very long intro, and usually they're not very long. And I also think that ties to the energy of the situation, actually, in the sense that I think you've been maybe going in circles with this person, and something that should have been simply resolved, is just not being resolved. And I think this is wrong. This should be over here. And there is a reason for that, because I said I remember your cards because something very specific, I noticed something very specific, because it seems like you see this person as someone who runs, someone who is a runner, someone who prefers to get away from difficult energies when things get hard, when things get complicated, when things get too triggering for them. And they recognize this pattern in themselves as well. And they think you see them in this light, that they run when things get difficult, because they make it a much bigger thing than it actually is in their head, because they get scared, because they think it's not resolvable anymore. Like, they run because they got a little bit wet, because they see rain and they think, oh, it's gonna flood, I have to get away. They think that's how you see them. And they think you see them as someone who runs from something that has a lot of potential, just out of fear, just out of patterns that they have, patterns that they learned a long time ago. I think they recognize this, that they've had these patterns for a long time, way before this connection itself. So it's not like they just surfaced within this connection. I think in past connections, they just didn't matter as much because they didn't run as deep. I think they also feel some sense of you being either proud of them or seeing some kind of growth in them. Like they're shedding parts of their energy. They're shedding things that are not serving them anymore. They think you see the work that they're doing. And they think you know this is a committed situation, even if that has not been explicitly discussed. There may be a lot of things that have been left unsaid between the two of you. I'm not going to really comment on whether I think you are in communication or not, because I think that is not very relevant, because in any case, energetically, you are still going. You are still connected energetically, regardless of what may be going on physically between the two of you. But for most of you, I think you are in some form of communication at the very least, because this kind of feels like a relationship in progress. It feels like two people who have not given up on each other, and this person thinks you haven't given up on them. They also think this is something you want to put effort into and something you want to commit to, something you have faith in. And they think you recognize that you trigger each other, and you are similar in ways, in kind of more psychological ways. Not necessarily that you have the same attachment style or the same love language or anything of that sort, but more so, you've both been really triggered in this connection. You've both maybe sabotaged it in certain ways. And there seems to be this understanding between the two of you that this person feels as well, that you feel towards them. that you're giving each other space to grow. You're giving each other space to battle your fears and to build courage to really open up to each other. That seems to be the mutual reciprocated goal here. That's where they think you stand. And I think this person also feels that the two of you share a very strong sexual chemistry. And the reason I'm saying like this person feels it too is because, one, we have this twin card, but also I think a lot of the energies here are mirrored between you and this person. And you're both running in certain ways. I'm really drawn to this horse. I think they see you as a like powerhouse. They think you know that. They think you know that you are the relationship powerhouse, like you are the leader in this relationship, even if it's not explicitly stated. And of course, relationships should be equal and reciprocal, but I feel like you are kind of what's coming through is that you are maybe the wiser one, I'm gonna say, spiritually, and maybe the more emotionally well-versed partner. So it seems like you lead the way, and this person feels that you are comfortable doing so. They think you're comfortable kind of showing them the way, like it comes naturally to you. And they think you are very attracted to them, both physically and mentally, in kind of a way that they wouldn't be able to put into words. They think you understand them quite well, or that you put a lot of effort into understanding them, and that you really care about understanding them because you really care about them. You really care about their well-being, and you care about the well-being of this connection. Even if they haven't said this to you, especially if they were triggered, I feel like this could have been someone who lashed out quite a bit because they didn't know how to deal with their emotions. And they think you see them. Like you see them and you try your best to understand them. That seems to be your goal in this connection. And to allow them space to grow, to heal, and to do the same for yourself. For some of you, there may have been a third party, but you would absolutely know about this if that is the case. But more than like third party energy, I'm getting like things that were unsaid that held this connection back, that became mental obstacles between the two of you, or that made this person run. It seems like things were being put in the way because there was more work to do. There were still more triggers to work on, not necessarily individually, but together. Kind of like this cycle of triggering, healing. And this person also feels that they think you're determined about this connection. They think you are determined. You have like a strong sense of resolve when it comes to getting rid of the obstacles between the two of you. For some of you, this can be physical distance with external transformation. Also, the Knight of Pentacles makes me feel like long travel, because it takes a long time for the two of you to get to each other. So I feel like there is that long distance energy. And the Grand Trine is making me think of the Three of Wands, which again makes me think of not just growth and development, and future plans and things along those lines, and things happening and moving, but also it makes me think of long distance. You don't have to be long distance, obviously, but I feel like for some of you, that could be one of the big factors in this connection that get in the way of making it happen. They think that you think they are putting in more effort than they used to, and they are trying to be more brave. They think you appreciate them for that. They also think you appreciate when they try to be more transparent about their inner world, about what they're feeling, when they try to communicate things better to you. When they tell you things, even when they're afraid of talking about them. They think you appreciate them and the depth of this connection. Sometimes they think you feel like your patience is really being tested by this situation and by this person. But the way I'm hearing this, almost like it put a smile on my face because it almost feels a little bit playful. They also think you're a lot more planned and organized than they are. I don't know why that's coming through in what's otherwise a little bit more of an emotionally focused reading. But that seems to be maybe one big difference you notice in each other in the way you do things. You may like to have things more figured out, and this person may be a little bit more go with the flow, be spontaneous. It's a bit cheeky, this energy, this person's energy. So I feel like for most of you, this is a partner that you may have like broken up with, or you may be going through a rough patch with, but I don't think this is like someone you haven't heard from in like ages or something. I feel like for most of you, there is some sort of communication or a strong desire to have that at the very least, because they think you really enjoy being in their energy, talking to them, being around them, spending time with them. There is excitement, there is movement, there is inspiration, there is attraction. And I think this goes both ways, and it's not just what they think you feel towards them. I think there is a lot of mirrored energies here. They think this is something you want to invest in, but the right opportunity just has not been there. And I was saying something about you like leading the way. I don't know if I mentioned, that's because I saw this horse, and the cheetah and the horse are running in the same direction. And the horse is quite divine, quite like powerful, you know? Knows where it's going, it's free. And there is also this energy of maybe this person now chasing you, or you feel like they're more interested, more intrigued, more after you now than they were before. Like at first they were kind of just running from their fears, but now they're running back to you. I just saw 1717. And why did I get so excited about that? Because 1717 is one of my lucky combinations. And I always take that as a really good omen when I see that in a reading. So let's get into the tarot. And while I am getting ready for that, I will talk about what we're looking at in the extended, which I am just coming out with right now, kind of, because you are pile one. But we're going to be getting tons of channeled messages from them. That's a given. We're also going to look at what they're not telling you. So additional information like feelings, any hidden energies, intentions, whatever needs to come through, whatever truths they may be feeling a little bit hesitant to tell you for whatever reason. We're going to get to the bottom of that. We're also going to get advice on how to navigate the energies of this situation, or anything else that may come through that may be significant to you right now in your life, what's happening around you. So if you're interested, the link will be down below. And yeah, let's get into the tarot now. I'm noticing the candle is struggling a little bit again. But it's still going. So I feel like really this connection has been through a lot. You may have been through a lot of different seasons with this person, a lot of things together. So let's see, pile 1, please. What does this person, how does this person think pile 1 sees them? This was, again, kind of cheeky, but like they're not doing enough work. Like they're not, and I don't think this almost seems like maybe a talk you've had many times before with this person. That they're kind of the one that's more scared, the one that is more flighty in general. But it almost seems like you've talked about these things, or you've been figuring these things out, or you intend to figure these things out, and that's why there is this kind of cheekiness to this energy, because they know you know, and they know, and you know they know. It's kind of like something like that, you know? But it's also not that this person doesn't feel apologetic. Don't get me wrong. I think it's not so much that, but it's more so that, it's more so an energy of we've talked about this 1,000 times. And yet there is still things unsaid. I also just saw 2022 could be important. We have the King of Pentacles, and we have Death. But you see their efforts anyway. Like this almost seems kind of like it became like there is this mutual understanding that you are both willing to work on this now. And you accept each other as you are. It's that kind of energy, or at least they feel like you accept them as they are, even if they have disappointed you in the past. And I think because they feel so much like you accept them, there is this transformational energy happening because they feel supported in this transformation. Pile 1, please. What does this person think pile 1 thinks? Okay, I didn't mean to do this, but I accidentally flipped this upright, so we're going to take it upright, whatever it is. We have the 5 of Cups. Yeah, they think you are disappointed in them, especially in the past, I think. And sometimes maybe you still are. But I also feel like this is someone who is actually actively trying their best to be there, to meet your needs, to understand you better. And they feel like you see them for that. And it's also this feeling of, even though they have maybe been unfair or done something wrong in the past, they think you still really value this connection, and it's not like you're gonna write them off because of like their past actions, which they're trying to make up for. They think you are someone who has very freely given them a lot of forgiveness, a lot of understanding. They also understand not everyone would act that way. Not everyone would have treated them in the same way or given them the same kind of energy. But look, we have the same star, right? And here it's like sticking its tongue out or something. I don't know if it's supposed to be a heart. It kind of is as well, but it's sticking its tongue out. Like there is something playful about this energy. I think you are either in a good place with this person or you're getting to be. And there seems to be a very special connection between the two of you. Like you speak a language only the two of you understand. We have the Fool. They think you want a new beginning, that you want to take a chance. They think you see this as something worth taking a chance for. They see you as having optimism, for healing, for growth, for more to come together. Ten of Swords. Yeah, they think you might blame them for some things, not in a way where you hold it against them, but they have, it seems like they haven't shown up, or they haven't done something they promised they would, or they weren't meeting your needs. They weren't putting the effort in because they were running, they were afraid. And they think you connect a potential ending that may have happened in the past, or a separation or a rough patch. They think you attribute that to this, to them not putting in effort. And I think they take responsibility for that, especially with the King of Pentacles following this energy. And they think you see them taking responsibility as well. Like, you see the change in the energy, the change in how they're showing up. We have the Eight of Swords. Because it seems like there's also this energy of maybe them speaking a language you don't understand. Not literally necessarily, maybe also literally. But in the past, it's like when they've tried to show you they care, you haven't been responsive. And that could be because, like, you were speaking different love languages, or someone was dealing with their own stuff, or there were miscommunications. But regardless of the exact reason, there is kind of this, like, acknowledgement that they do have responsibility, but they think you also see that sometimes you maybe didn't trust them or take their word or put faith in them. But that seems more like a past energy than present, because we have this Death energy right at the center, which is about transforming. It's about growth. It's about change. It's about out with the old, in with the new, as Sharpay Evans said. Goodbye, clouds of gray. Hello, skies of blue. I really felt like saying that. I don't know. And now the song is stuck in my head. What a tune. We have the Hermit. Virgo energy could be significant. They think you are also, like, you see this as an opportunity for growth, as an opportunity for introspection. They think you have been growing through this, or you see yourself as having grown through this. Maybe you've talked about this already. We have the Page of Cups, and we have the Knight of Pentacles coming out again. So yeah, this has been going on for some time, I think. It seems like it's been a rough process with many ups and downs, and you recognize the beauty of this journey. And I think this person does as well, but they think they're able to see that more so because of your perspective, like because of the things you've told them, or the ways you've shown them, or the way you've shared your perception of this journey. Even if it's been difficult, it's been also rewarding. It's been connecting. It's been something that deepened your bond. And I think right now they think you're trying to take things more lightly than, like, rather than making things very intense. And it seems like right now they think you're also maybe trying to go with the flow a little bit more. It's almost like the two of you are feeding off of each other's energy, and like your energies are bouncing off of each other and creating balance. Even if your approaches are different, it's a little bit like you're learning from each other. Bottom deck energy is the moon. They think you feel drawn to them in a way that neither of you probably would be able to explain. I heard if anyone would be able to explain it, it would be pile one. So not them, it's gonna be you if anyone's gonna explain this connection. But this overall seems quite sweet to me. Okay, let's get some channeled messages before we take this to the extended to get more channeled messages. This reading put me in such a good mood. I don't know. Let's see. I'm just getting the messages out because there are a million little messages stuck to them, and I think that also is confirmation that there are still things unsaid, things you haven't like talked about properly or talked about enough. Maybe also because either you are or they perceive you to be more in this easygoing energy as well. So maybe right now you're more so focused on enjoying the time you have together. But okay, let's see. Pile one, please. What message? We have, I'm really confused. I'm waiting for you to make a move. There is that leader energy again, I think. This connection may also be a little bit at a standstill in terms of like how to eliminate all of the obstacles, because I feel like it's clear what both of you want, really. But maybe it hasn't really been spoken about because they seem to know or think they know what you want. And that is that you are committed to this connection. And I think maybe some of you haven't fully talked about that. Or maybe they haven't actually heard that from you. I value the memories we made. I want you by my side. We have music. Music could be significant. They could be a musician, but I essentially included this to represent any kind of creative activity. I don't know why I didn't just put creativity. But yeah, music. Or you could be receiving messages through music, through lyrics about this connection. We also have, I'm sorry you had to see that side of me. Yeah, I do think there is a long, long, long past here. But yeah, I think this is where we take it to the extended. I hope this was helpful. I hope it resonated, or I hope it was at least interesting, if you made it this far, especially. But thank you for sharing your energy with me, if this was your energy. And yeah, bye. Hello, my beautiful pile twos, and welcome to your reading on how the person on your mind thinks you see them and your connection. This may not be how you actually see the connection or feel about this person, but we're trying to look at what their perspective of your perspective is, basically. So with that in mind, we are starting off with some oracle cards. Then we have some tarot to get through, as well as channeled messages. And there will also be an extended, which we will talk about later on. And before we get into this, you got multiple cards from this deck and the Iris Oracle, which was not my intention at all. If you look at pile one, you'll see that there's a bunch of like, the layout is different basically. And I'm mentioning this specifically because this situation, for one, the cards came out really fast. They literally like flew out of the deck before I could even shuffle properly. And it felt very, it was in a very pointed way. And I feel a bit like this points to the energy in this connection being or feeling quite frustrating and maybe quite tense, like a lot has been unsaid, or the more you think about it, the more things start bubbling up again. Like there is a lot of energy that hasn't been expressed, or there hasn't been an outlet. That's what it feels like. It feels very full. It feels very busy and kind of knotted in on itself. And it feels heavy too. So I feel like for a lot of you, this is going to be someone that you have broken up with. You have been in a argument with, a fight with, a rough patch, but it feels like things are not necessarily the best between the two of you right now. You may be in no contact or very limited contact as well, especially because I feel like there is a lot that has been left unexpressed. But okay, let's see. We have the oyster. We have universal love is true love, so love all. This is the number 42. 42 or 24 could be significant because this came out in reverse. We have inner space and universal knowledge, which is the number 20. 2024 could be significant. We have the stone, the one who needs to control, which is also the number 20. So 2020 to 2024 could be significant. They don't have to be, of course. This is just for extra confirmation if you're looking for any. We have you can't find goodness because you lost your heart. Virgo. Virgo season or energy could be significant. And we also have the Chariot. Cancer energy or season could also be significant. And this person, I think for one, they are assuming a lot about you. That's what this feels like. Like there are a lot of unknowns, a lot of gaps in the information that they have about this situation. But there also seems to be some misguided energy, like they came to the wrong conclusion about something, or the conclusions this person has come to may be mismatched from how you actually feel or what you actually meant. With this Virgo energy and this inner space and universal knowledge, like this almost for me creates a contrast between what's on your mind and what's on theirs, in the sense that what they think you think is maybe not. Or let me rephrase that. I feel like this relates to kind of maybe the story of what happened, or there is maybe a situation that you think they're in the wrong for, and they think you're in the wrong for that situation and not them. Something along those lines, like a difference in perspective when it comes to especially maybe the rougher edges of this connection, kind of the rougher energies, the more complicated, argumentative energies in this connection, because it seems like a lot has happened between the two of you, and this person thinks in certain ways you're closed off to them, but still, if they were to approach you in the right way, things could change as well. So there is a little bit of the ball is in their court kind of energy. So for a lot of you, this person could be someone you felt like you had to walk away from, or someone that could have ghosted you or kind of just disappeared. But there seems to be an energy of like last resort, like this ending the situation was a last resort because it really wasn't what you expected or needed or deserved. Like it feels like if you walked away, it feels like a decision you may have made out of responsibility for your own well-being. But this person thinks you are still drawn to this connection, whether that is actually the truth or not, that you are still drawn to them, even though you are trying to protect yourself and hold back. So they see you in this kind of push and pull kind of energy. And I think also feel like you are surrounded by people who may not like this person, and these people may be influencing your opinion about this person and about this person's actions. But there is a sense of this person thinking maybe if they were to get you alone, the circumstances would change, or the conversations you have would change the outcome of the situation, or where you stand with it right now. Because there seems to be this energy that even though we have the stone and the oyster and the chariot, which all make me think of shells, like a hard shell, something unmovable, the crab has a soft inside, and the oyster as well. So it almost feels like in certain ways they oh, my voice. There's almost an energy of, like, if you approach it the right way, if you approach the situation the right way, if they approach the situation or you the right way, they could soften it again. And once again, this doesn't have to be how you actually feel or the truth of the situation at all, but I feel like this person is maybe in some ways trying to appear confident that they can always get what they want. And if they don't have something, it's because they don't want it. But I think that's not necessarily always a truth. I think this is someone who tends to act from a place of limitations and a lot of insecurity around themselves, so much that they may feel like they have to prove to other people that they are this and they are that. But it almost feels like they may tend to try to prove to other people that they are something they're actually not. And with that, we have the one who needs to control. And this feels a bit like a projection of how they might feel about the situation as well, because I think this is someone who would prefer to be in control of the situation. And I think maybe that's where this idea that they could change the outcome if they just like made a move or made the right move comes from. But I think they see you as being guarded for the sake of like having the upper hand. So there seems to have almost been a battle between the two of you, because they see the two of you as like not as a team, but that you have kind of taken the other side. You've kind of chosen to go against them. And this could absolutely be a result of their behavior towards you and how they may have treated you, things they may have said, situations they may have put you in. But I think they see only parts of the story, or only accept parts of the narrative. And I will mention that I do think this may be someone with narcissistic traits for some of you, which does not have to immediately mean they have a narcissistic personality disorder. It will vary depending on the situation, but it feels like this is not someone who knows themselves very well, yet tries quite hard to be in control of others, how they are perceived by others. Someone who finds it difficult to be authentic and vulnerable, because I think there is a lot that this person has repressed and a lot that they are running from within. And circling back to the NPD, I'm not trying to diagnose anyone. I absolutely can't do that. But yeah, you will know your situation best, is what I mean. But I only wanted to mention it because I see it in the comments sometimes. Like, they're a narcissist, this person is a narcissist, and I just wanted to point that out because sometimes the details of a situation, especially in a collective reading, will vary depending on who exactly you're dealing with, what exactly the situation is with, and it's not one label fits all. So I don't want to lead to any mislabeling or social media diagnosing anyone. And yeah, having narcissistic traits does not necessarily point to the full-on disorder. But I think a lot of you know who or what kind of situation or person you are dealing with already. Like, while this person feels that you've pulled away, they also feel very seen by you, but not in the sense of like feeling validated or heard. I think it's more that they don't want to be seen, but inherently they are seen by you because you seem to know this person maybe a bit better than they know themselves, or a bit better than they would like, because they think you're guarded. They think you would still give to this connection because you feel very connected to them and very invested in this situation. This could be something you invested a lot of finances into, a lot of effort, a lot of love, because it seems that you were very generous with your energy, and that's why they think you have this soft spot for them, because if you could give to them so much, the logic here seems to be that can't be something that stops. And I'm not sure how that connects together, but that's what I heard, that this can't be something that they would ever lose, because you wouldn't actually leave them. That's kind of what it feels like. And maybe for some of you, this comes from a place of repeating several cycles with the same person. So they kind of developed this thought of like, you would stick with them no matter what they do, which I think for a lot of you is not the truth. And I think a lot of you realize that how this person may have treated you does not necessarily match how you want to be treated, how you deserve to be treated. For some of you, this person, it's a little bit of like mind games energy, if I'm being honest. And they seem more focused on them than really understanding how you feel. Because we have all of these closed up cards, and they seem to represent this assumption of like, no matter what pile 2 says or does or whatever I can see, I know like there is softness on the inside. And I think in a way that connects to the soft, gentle energy that you inherently embody. But at the same time, it seems a bit like this person is not someone who has either faced the consequences of their actions, either in this connection or just as a pattern in general, someone who may avoid confrontation and taking responsibility and having the difficult conversations. It feels a bit like they either haven't had to face the consequences of their actions, or they think they will always find a way to make things better, to smooth things over again. I think they think you think about this connection a lot, even if you may have pulled your energy away. They think I'm hearing cross with them because of what they did, what they said, but they feel this is only temporary. Like, it seems like things are difficult, things are painful right now, but they feel that that's temporary. And they could restore this situation. But it's a bit difficult to describe this energy because I feel like there's a lot this person is almost withholding from themselves about this situation, like a lot of truths that maybe both of you know and understand. They may have been deceitful towards you, and they know you know, and you know that they know, but neither of you speaks about it. Something like that. Like, there is an awareness of certain things, but they haven't been discussed, or they haven't been acknowledged even by this person. They may deny a lot of things. And I think deep down, this is someone who is quite insecure and does not have a very stable, secure image of themselves either. I think they don't know themselves quite well. And so there may be a lot of inconsistency in how they act because they don't know which one they are, almost. Their energy is coming through very guarded as well. Not just towards you in this situation, but just in general. It seems like this is someone who feels a bit like it's them against the world. And I think they see that you don't see it that way, or you don't have to experience life that way. You have love around you. You have light around you, which I think is something this person feels that they don't have. Whether that is the truth, or like the truth of their experience or not. But what I find interesting is I think this person is so knotted up in themselves and their own perspective and kind of going in circles in their head that their view of your side of the situation is so limited and so narrow. Like, it's not, it seems like certain things are maybe more convenient to not think about. Like, it would be easier to ignore the rougher parts of the situation, or the maybe more complicated details, the more complicated aspects, and just make it into something much simpler, when it seems like the situation has not been simple, felt simple, or been straightforward in a lot of ways. This person feels that you are hurt by them, but also that you are so forgiving, so generous, so giving with your energy, that it can't possibly be set in stone this way. That's what it feels like. And I feel a bit like I'm repeating what I'm saying, but I think this is maybe something this person repeats to themselves, to maybe give themselves a sense of control, which I think brings them a lot of comfort when they feel that they can be in control of situations. But now that we have kind of the framework of this situation, let's try to get a bit more information with the tarot about how they think you see this situation. And while I start shuffling, I will quickly talk about the extended. We're going to look at what this person is not telling you and why. So anything that you need to know that you may not be aware of right now about this person, about this situation, about their feelings maybe, whatever needs to come through, hopefully will come through. We will also get tons of channeled messages from them additionally to look at anything else we may be missing, or to confirm maybe some feelings, thoughts. And we will also get advice on how you can deal with the energies of this situation, or anything else that is relevant right now. If you're interested, the link will be down below. And with that out of the way, see, the cards have been just acting strange in your pile. This is a very easy deck to shuffle. And the cards almost feel stickier, like heavier. And I feel like maybe this situation seems a bit sticky or heavy. It's almost like the cards are embodying that too. And the unpredictability of this situation. We're going to take the top two only because this is way too many cards. So we have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. We have Death card in reverse. Scorpio energy or season could be significant. But see, there is a lot of resistance. And we have another oyster image, which I'm just realizing. This person sees your worth and the things that you are able to give, provide. That you've shown up, I'm hearing, as better than them, which is a weird way to word it, I think, but it's almost this energy of you've been a better partner than this person. And they are aware of that, but also very resistant of that fact at the same time. Like, there's a lot of mismatch in their energy as well, or a lot of inconsistency, and it seems like it showed in their behavior too. We have the Six of Swords in reverse. They think you go back to this situation a lot, and what happened, maybe repeat your, reread your texts or repeat your conversations in your head. We have the Devil. Capricorn energy or season could be significant. We have the Five of Cups in reverse. They think right now they're in your like bad books. Like they realize they don't have a lot of credit with you right now. But again, with this Five of Cups in reverse, it seems like there is a remedy for that they think they can provide, or they can achieve, they can do. We have the Seven of Swords in reverse. We have the Hermit in reverse, but it flipped back in, and instead these two fell out of the deck. So we have Judgment, Aquarius energy, and we have the King of Swords. They think if they were to approach you right now, exactly as things are, maybe it would create more chaos between the two of you, or you would not be the most receptive to them. But there is also this like a clean slate kind of energy. I also noticed in this pile, I'm finding it very difficult to verbalize something. So I think this is someone who's maybe not very good at expressing themselves authentically or effectively, or really get the message they want to say across to you. Or they may feel a bit like misunderstood in certain ways by you in this situation. Like you misunderstood their actions. You just need to see it from their perspective. And I'm not saying this as like you did misunderstand their actions or anything along those lines, but I think this is how this person sees it, is that you see the situation differently than they do, and they have a better grasp of what the situation really is. I think that's kind of how they look at it, even if that is a bit annoying to hear maybe. I feel like this person is just coming from a very limited perspective, a perspective that's limited to more just them and their experience. We have the Six of Wands in reverse. Can we clarify the Five of Cups in reverse, please? We have the Chariot in reverse. They think the softness is still there, but you're expecting an apology from them, or for them to do the right thing, say the right thing. So they realize they think you see the ball as being in their court. And they recognize that how you interpret their behavior is quite negative, is what I'm hearing. And that almost seems too vague, but that's what I'm hearing. And again, there is this energy of this person ruminating a lot, but not really going in depth, or not really getting the nuance of the situation or the details, or really understanding like why you may have pulled away, or why you may be reactive to this person, or why you may be guarded, or why you're not giving this situation the same energy. I feel like yeah, they don't see I lost my train of thought. I think they may also be quite distracted. Like they may distract themselves a lot, maybe with substances, with other people, with work, with the gym, with school, whatever may apply to them in particular. We also have the Hierophant, Taurus energy. And bottom deck is the Lovers. They think you feel a sense of responsibility to your connection with them, and a sense of connectedness to them, even if the commitment itself is not there right now between the two of you. I think this person does try to keep a very good image of themselves, a very positive image of themselves, and they're quite resistant to any shortcomings that they may have, and quite resistant to confronting these shortcomings, because I think they are quite critical of themselves, they may also project that energy onto other people. And I think it's important to talk about how this person may see themselves, because I think that may explain why they may see this situation the way that they do, or they may have acted the way that they did, not because of something you did or because this is what you deserve or anything along those lines, but because of their own inner experience in their own inner world. Like, what is happening within them is just being reflected on to the outside. Makes me think of this card again. This person is not so, like, they know you're smart. And it almost seems like they are underestimating you, but they realize they are underestimating you. But that's still the story they're going to tell themselves. Or like underestimating the consequences of their actions. But they're still going to tell themselves that story. They're still going to act according to that perspective, that perception. Because it's safer, it's more comfortable. It maybe doesn't feel as scary as saying, yeah, I messed up, or apologizing, almost apologizing, even not almost. Is there anything else that wants to come through about how this person thinks? And there's kind of this energy of you seeing through what they say or any mask they may put on, but then again denying that as well. Like having an awareness, but saying, no, that can't be. I'm probably wrong. Like it's just a stupid thought. But they know it's not. I hope that makes sense. Like, I know this sounds a bit conflicting maybe, but I think that's because there are a lot of conflicting thoughts and scenarios in this person's mind. A lot of repressing their feelings, repressing their thoughts, repressing the truth, to feel more comfortable, to not feel left out in the cold, to not feel alone, which I think this person inherently does. I do think they feel like it's them against the world in a lot of ways, and these are just the cards that they're dealt, and they're gonna have to deal with it. And I think maybe it's a bit of a coping mechanism for them if, like, let's say you're upset with them because of something they did. They may see it as like, oh, it's because, like, relationships don't work, so of course pile 2 is going to be upset at me, or of course this is going to end because everything ends. Like, all relationships end. Love isn't real. It seems like those kinds of, like, thoughts. Doesn't have to be those exact thoughts, but a bit of, like, very biased attribution of consequences. Let's get some channeled messages to wrap this up, wrap up the main reading, and then we're taking this to the extended to see what else wants to come through from this energy. So I cut the deck, and we're gonna take this. I'm gonna show you in a second after I shuffle, because this feels very relevant to this person's energy, which I think is not something they would readily admit, or I'm hearing allow to come out. Okay, we have I'm struggling right now. Pile 2. You are a wish come true. It does feel like you've given this person everything, and like everything they could ask for and more, and yet they kind of pushed it away or sabotaged it in a certain way. I feel really alone in dealing with this situation. Yeah. I was also coming through quite strongly in the reading, in the rest of the reading. We have music. Music could be significant to this connection. They could be communicating with you through music. like on their stories or something. They could be an artist as well, or you could be, doesn't have to be music or musicians. It can also be any type of artist. I kind of included this as like the creative energy. Everything is falling apart. And ego. Yeah. I do think their ego is coming on strong in this situation and in their current perspective of this situation as well. Very protective, very self-preserving, but it also feels quite damaging to them, and like it pushes them away from the things that they want or the things that they could have, experiences, people that they could be around, friendships, relationships, other opportunities. It seems a bit like they're isolating themselves because of these self-limiting beliefs or limiting beliefs about whatever situations they find themselves in. And maybe this is something from childhood or past relationships or something they've seen in their life as a pattern. But it also feels a bit like they're not really trying to get out of this perspective or situations that don't serve them either. It seems a bit like accepting their fate and writing everything off as fate for things that they can't control or they feel they can't control. Because maybe it feels safer to do that, or almost more controllable. And I think on this note, this is all I have for you. I hope this was helpful. I am sending you tons of love. Take care, and bye. Hello, my beautiful pile threes, and welcome to your reading on how the person on your mind sees you and your connection. We're starting off with these oracle cards first, then we have some tarot to get through, as well as channeled messages, and there will also be an extended, which we will take a look at later on. So let's see what we have. Starting off, we have the raccoon. We have Aries. The season of Aries or Aries placements could be significant, but they don't have to be. It's just for extra confirmation if you're looking for any. We have Chiron. We have the Sword. The number 66, Alchemy. We have the Knight of Cups. We have Life Lessons again, the number 18. Virgo energy could be significant, the number 9, and this card in general, it's making me think of the Hermit. And we also have the number 20, which is the Courage card in this deck. I think this is going to be someone that, first of all, feels they don't have a lot of information about you yet. Or so far. So for a lot of you, I think to kind of set the framework of what the situation could be, I'm getting more of a fresh, new energy, but that doesn't mean you haven't met this person before, or that doesn't mean like they never knew you or they never knew you intimately. It just feels like currently there is some space, there is some distance, there is some gaps in their knowledge of you in terms of how you're doing or how you're feeling. So I think some of this is based off of assumption, if not all of it. Maybe you haven't talked to this person about how you feel at all, because with the Sword energy, first of all, there seems to be some kind of guardedness in you that they see, not necessarily because of them for some of you, and not necessarily because of a particular past with them, but maybe because of your past experiences. Especially with life lessons, again, there is a level of hesitation and a level of doubt that this person thinks you feel towards them and your situation, mainly because you're either healing from something that happened in the past, or you've kind of become more vigilant towards certain situations, especially if they're intimate, especially if it involves the heart space, especially if it takes a little bit emotional courage to kind of take a leap towards it. I think this person thinks you at the very least have some form of like emotional interest in them. And I think the reason it's so vague is because this is someone who's a little bit, someone who likes to be certain about things. This is not someone who necessarily is like the biggest risk taker or someone who will just jump into a situation without really knowing what's going on or like what the real story is. I just saw 333, so that could be significant as well, but it doesn't have to be. And I was just glancing at the screen. I wasn't just staring at it and waiting for 333 to appear. But this could be like co-workers, it could be a school crush kind of energy as well, but I could also see this being an ex, honestly. And I don't necessarily like giving a multitude of scenarios, but this is a collective reading, and sometimes the energies of like within different contexts can come through very similarly or can deal with similar concepts, even though one of you could be dealing with an ex from like 10 years ago and the other one is dealing with a coworker that you've known for 2 months or something. Because I feel like the dynamic is quite similar. So if this is an ex, this is someone that you would be meeting again, or someone that has not spent all of this time really knowing you, because something about this feels very fresh, and something about this also feels kind of hidden. This person sees you being a bit like cautious and being a bit like subtle, or trying to be a little bit sneaky, a little bit subtle. Like they notice, or they think you have your eye on them. They think you are drawn to them. They think you wonder about the possibilities with them and what this situation could turn out to be. They think you are curious about some kind of opportunity with them, some kind of new beginning, some kind of fresh start, that you are considering it, but they feel you are not certain about it. Because there seems to be some things to heal, either internally, either just like for you on your own, maybe a breakup from the past, maybe a breakup with this person even. But they feel like you are still more wrapped up in your own energy than in theirs, and you are figuring things out for yourself. But that doesn't mean you don't really have hopes for this. I was going to say for this channel. Thank you if you do. But I meant to say for this connection, obviously. Some of you could work in TV or media, podcasts. I don't know. Those things are kind of coming through, like public speaking type of energy. Could be this person as well, but doesn't have to be. With this sword, they may notice you looking at them a lot, or just, I don't know, there's a sense of your eye being on them, even if it's not literally. For some of you, this could be through social media as well. They think you're kind of not trying to get too much of their attention right now, or not really like rock the boat. And again, I feel like this ties back to being cautious. And I think this person thinks you find them very interesting, exciting in certain ways, or maybe the situation itself could feel exciting. But they also feel that you don't know them enough to really make up your mind either. Like neither of you knows this situation enough, or knows this situation well enough. And they see you as being quite vigilant in case they say something wrong, they do something wrong. So there is something a little bit like on edge about this almost, but it feels very mixed with excitement and expectation and hope. I think that's how they kind of pick up on your energy. But you still seem more withdrawn, more self-focused. You could be studying something in particular or developing some kind of new skill, some kind of code I'm hearing as well. That could be relevant. But they see you more focused on your craft or your life and the building blocks of your life and yourself rather than this connection itself. So your attention seems divided. And they also feel you may like have an ever-changing mind about this situation. You're really not settled on this person or on this situation. It's a lot of doubtful energy. But it doesn't necessarily feel very stressful. It just feels cautious. It just feels taking it slow and not wanting to rush into anything, jump into something, not wanting to get too distracted. Some of you may have migraines as well. They think you're very receptive to them as well. But maybe they're also kind of keeping their distance and taking it slow, so there isn't like a whole lot of things happening between the two of you. Or even if you're in contact, it feels like maybe neither of you is actually getting what you would really want out of that communication. It's maybe on and off, it's maybe inconsistent, it's maybe not deep enough, things along those lines. And this person thinks you, I don't know how to express this thought, but they think you've seen multiple versions of this person, maybe because like it's a past and present version, but it can also be you've seen them at work and you've seen them like with hanging out with friends at the bar or something. They feel like you've seen two versions of them, like two very vastly different versions of them as well, and that maybe makes you confused about this person in a way, about what it really is. This might be someone who kind of has a bit of a mask, like not in a sneaky kind of way, but more so in a I don't let everyone see me really kind of energy. Like they keep the softest parts of them to themselves, and they feel like the difference in either how they treat you in different contexts or how they have treated you in different contexts, it might be making you feel confused and unsure and add a little bit of doubt to your vision of this situation as well. But overall, I think they feel you are hopeful about the situation and more on the open side, even if it's a bit cautious, even if it's a bit of a slower moving energy. Let's get into the tarot and see what else wants to come through. And while I'm getting ready for that, I will quickly talk about what we're looking at in the extended. We will be getting tons of channeled messages from this person, and we will also look at what they're not telling you. So anything that wants to come through about their thoughts, feelings, or something that is going on, an energy surrounding the situation, whatever it may be, whatever is most relevant, that's what we're aiming for. And we are also going to get advice on how to deal with the current energies of this situation or any other situation that you may be tangled up in that may be coming through or relevant for you to know about right now. So let's see. And this deck has some nudity, which YouTube does not like. So I'm going to shuffle over here just in case I have to censor something. Pile 3, please. Pile 3. How is this person thinking? We have the 5 of Pentacles. There is that space between the two of you. And if this is an ex, I think they think you feel a little bit abandoned by them and a little bit pushed away, pushed out, like kept at an arm's length. We have Freedom in reverse, which is the Chariot in the traditional tarot. So Cancer energy or the season of Cancer could be significant. So late June and first off-ish, well, until like the 23rd of July, I think. Is it the 23rd or the 22nd? Or 21st. Anyway, we have the 7 of Cups in reverse. There's also a little bit of an energy of this person feeling like you get a bit like flustered around them or trip over your words or thoughts. I'm hearing tripping over your thoughts. Like there is something a little bit like crushing on each other kind of energy, or like watching each other from a distance type of energy to this. But yeah, 7 of Cups in reverse. Pile 3. How does this person think pile 3 feels about them? We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. I heard this is going nowhere. So I think in certain ways they may see you being frustrated or a little bit of like at a little bit of a loss in terms of what to do in this situation, or if this is actually realistic or going to go somewhere, or something is going to happen. There is a little bit of a going in circles kind of energy, but it may also just be that the situation is not progressing due to external factors or inaction on both ends as well. Like it's kind of staying at the same level of distance, of intimacy. We have introspection in reverse, which is the Hermit. And we also had the number 9 coming through in the first part of the reading with the Oracle cards. So Virgo energy or season could be specifically significant, or Virgo energy makes me think of like university. And I know that that's not the house it's related to, but that's what it makes me think of. University, professors, like all that stuff that connects to that basically. 2 of Wands in reverse. We have the Ace of Cups. 2 of Cups in reverse. For some of you, I think this person is unsure if you are friend zoning them or if you are interested in them, or like the opportunity of the window of opportunity is passed on your end. So I think this is someone who doesn't necessarily have a very solid idea of how they think you feel or how they think you see them. And they seem to just not have a lot of information about you or what you're feeling. So maybe you haven't had an opportunity to have a real conversation, like an in-depth conversation with this person. But there is a little bit of like excitement and playfulness too, which is why like I feel a bit like giggling. There's something quite sweet about this as well. Like a new chance, or getting a new chance. Like the first chance, or maybe not the first at all, but it feels like the first chance. It feels like the first day. It's that kind of excitement. It's kind of jittery as well. And I think that's kind of the energy that they feel flows between the two of you. We have the Ace of Wands, so they think you're attracted to them, but almost like not enough to make a move, or maybe not enough, but you're not compelled by the situation enough to make a move. There are other things that require your attention right now, or other situations. For some of you, you could have gone through or you could be going through a divorce or a breakup right now, or vice versa. This person could be going through a divorce or a breakup right now, and that could be making this situation seem more confusing to you. And they think if someone is going through a breakup, or someone is or has been in another commitment, they think that also maybe clouds your vision a little bit and makes you more hesitant to approach the situation, or say something, or do something, or give them a green light, or yeah. We have the Five of Cups in reverse coming out as well. They think you feel that there is something within you that you need to heal before you are able to become what we may label as emotionally available to this person and to this situation. We have the King of Cups as the bottom deck energy. And something about this almost feels like a bit conservative. I'm hearing the word conservative. And I think I could interpret that as being maybe there are societal expectations outside of the two of you that could be affecting this situation, and they may know that for a fact, or they may know of your specific situation, or certain thoughts you may have relating to like your responsibility to others, or society as a whole, or like society's expectations, or familial expectations, or even what you expect of yourself. Like, it doesn't seem to be just external factors that get in between the two of you, but also emotional hesitation, emotional uncertainty. There is definitely a level of guardedness that is, I think, very present and very prominent in this energy. But we also have these two aces, which talk a lot about potential. So they think you are inspired by this situation, you are drawn to it, but you're pushing it away with the other hand. It's almost like with one hand you're pulling the situation closer to you, and with the other you're kind of pushing it away. So it's kind of, you know, half to you, half away from you. They think you're confused, essentially, and a little bit withdrawn when it comes to what you say to them as well, or a little bit careful with what you say to them. There is a bit of tension that they think you feel with them, not because you dislike them, but because you're not sure maybe how to interpret them either, or their behavior. And they think you don't maybe necessarily understand where they're coming from, or what's on their mind. Like, there seem to be a lot of question marks between the two of you. So I feel like maybe a lot of conversations that haven't happened yet, or some things that maybe there are some things you don't feel ready or comfortable to talk about or share with each other. Is there anything else that wants to come through? We have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. No opportunity. It seems like something has not fallen where it needs to. So, and if that thing happened, it would trigger an opportunity between the two of you. But this person feels like you see this opportunity as not being there, and this situation is not being grounded. But instead, they see you focusing on grounding yourself rather than like doing something about this situation. It's like, it's making me think of, like, you know how when you're on a plane and they have the like instructional presentation about like emergency exits and like seat belts and all that stuff. And it's making me think of the oxygen masks. Like, you're really prioritizing putting your own oxygen mask on first before you put the oxygen mask on this situation or on this person, however it may be. Which is, of course, the smartest thing, usually, because if you don't have oxygen, you will pass out and you won't be able to put on an oxygen mask on anyone else if you're just passed out. So just a bit of a random metaphor. But this energy feels quite light. We have the Ten of Pentacles. So I feel like while a lot of things may not be certain about the situation itself, I think this is someone who sees you being like, or trying to be more present. And I feel like that's kind of a dominant energy in this situation, like seeing where it goes, taking it one step at a time, going with the flow, things along those lines. Now let's get some channeled messages to see what wants to come through from this person and what they might say, if they could say anything at all. Pile 3. I feel like you don't get me. I think this ties back to that confusion energy of maybe seeing multiple versions of this person and you may not exactly know how to interpret them or their behavior. We have you haunt me. I'm worried you'll change your mind about me. Interesting. We have let go of the past, coming right on top of the Two of Cups in reverse. So for some of you, you could have had a breakup with this person, or someone could be going through a breakup or mourning an ex. We have I really like you. Pile 3, please. What message? Ooh. And we have, do you think about me? And they're all pink and white. Isn't that a song? Am I mixing up the colors? It's pink and white, right? But anyway, I think on this note, this is all I have for you for the main reading, and we're taking this to the extended now. I will see you there in a little bit if you're joining me there. If not, that is perfectly fine. I hope this reading was helpful or at least interesting. I am sending you tons of love. Take care and bye.